In the year 3150 AD, Earth stood at the precipice of a new era. Humanity had long conquered the challenges of its home planet, turning its gaze to the stars. The advancements in technology, particularly the development of faster-than-light travel, had propelled them into the cosmic community. Yet, the journey to interstellar recognition was anything but smooth. Captain Aidan Valor, a young officer in the United Earth Fleet, watched the azure orb of Earth recede in the viewport of his ship, the UES Intrepid. Beside him, the holographic interface displayed a plethora of data, trajectories, star maps, and communication logs from recent deep space probes. The Intrepid was on a mission of diplomacy, carrying humanity's hopes and dreams into the heart of the Andromeda galaxy. "Captain, we're approaching the designated coordinates for the rendezvous with the Draconian envoy," reported Lieutenant Sarah Voss, her voice steady despite the underlying tension. Aidan nodded, his sharp blue eyes scanning the holograms. The Draconians, a species with a reputation for both ferocity and advanced technology, had been humanity's silent benefactors. Through clandestine channels, they had provided Earth with blueprints and knowledge that had accelerated human progress by centuries. Today marked the first official meeting between the two species. "All systems check out. Prepare for deceleration," Aidan commanded, his voice resonating with calm authority. The Intrepid emerged from its faster-than-light travel, the starlines collapsing into pinpoints of light. Before them lay the Draconian vessel, an imposing construct of sleek dark metal with an intricate lattice of glowing blue lines running along its surface. It hovered like a sentinel in the void, an embodiment of alien grandeur and power. "Open a channel," Aidan instructed. The screen flickered to life, revealing a Draconian figure. Tall and imposing, with scales that shimmered like polished obsidian, Dr. Lyra Zorith stood as a testament to her species' formidable nature. Her eyes, a deep shade of emerald, regarded Aidan with an intensity that was both scrutinizing and curious. "Captain Valor, I presume," she said, her voice carrying a melodic yet authoritative tone. "Indeed, Dr. Zorith. It's an honor to finally meet face-to-face," Aidan replied, inclining his head respectfully. "The honor is mutual. Our collaboration has already borne fruit, and today marks a new chapter in our alliance," Lyra stated, her gaze softening slightly. "But I must warn you, Captain. The galaxy is vast and filled with dangers far beyond your current understanding." Aidan's expression hardened with determination. "Humanity has always thrived on challenges, Dr. Zorith. We are ready to face whatever lies ahead." As the two leaders discussed the terms of their cooperation, a Vardian vessel appeared on the edge of the sector. The Vardians, known for their delicate forms and extraordinary intellect, had also played a crucial role in humanity's ascent. The arrival of their ship was a symbol of the burgeoning Stellar Federation, a coalition of species united by a common goal of peace and exploration. However, peace was a fragile construct in the cosmos. Unbeknownst to them, a lurking menace watched from the shadows of the galaxy. The Zalarans, an insectoid species with a hive mind and an insatiable hunger for expansion, had set their sights on the burgeoning alliance. Guided by an ancient prophecy, Queen Zalara plotted the downfall of this new coalition, seeing it as both a threat and a fulfillment of her destiny. As the UES Intrepid and its allies cemented their ties, the stage was set for a conflict that would test the very fabric of their unity. The Andromeda galaxy, a vast expanse of wonders and perils, awaited them. And so began the Chronicles of Valor, a tale of humanity's unyielding spirit in the face of cosmic adversities. The bridge of the UES Intrepid was a hive of activity. Screens flickered with streams of data, and the hum of machinery filled the air. Captain Aidan Valor stood at the center, his eyes fixed on the main viewport where the vastness of space stretched out before them. It was a rare moment of quiet reflection, but it was abruptly shattered by a series of urgent beeps. "Captain, we're receiving a distress call," Lieutenant Voss announced, her fingers flying over the console. "It's coming from a Vardian ship. They're reporting an anomaly threatening their vessel." Aidan's demeanor shifted instantly from contemplative to resolute. "Patch it through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a Vardian officer. His delicate, almost ethereal features were marred by a look of deep concern. The Vardians, with their slender frames and large, expressive eyes, appeared fragile, but their intellect and technological prowess were unparalleled. U.S. Intrepid, this is the VSS Celestial Hope. We are carrying a contingent of juveniles on a critical mission, but we have encountered a spatial anomaly that is destabilizing our ship's systems. We require immediate assistance. Aiden exchanged a glance with Dr. Lyra Zorith, who had been monitoring the communications from her own station. The draconian scientist nodded, her eyes reflecting the gravity of the situation. Hang tight, Celestial Hope. We're on our way, Aiden replied, turning to his crew. Prepare for immediate warp to the Vardian coordinates. Engage shields and ready the medical bay for potential casualties. The Intrepid surged forward, stars blurring into streaks as they entered warp. The seconds felt like hours, but finally, they dropped out of warp near the Vardian ship. The Celestial Hope was visibly struggling, its hull flickering with erratic energy discharges. Scans show severe system malfunctions and a destabilizing warp core, reported Ensign Tessa Quinn, her youthful face a mask of focused determination. We need to act fast, Captain. Lieutenant Voss, prepare a boarding party. Dr. Zorith, I need you to stabilize their systems. Tessa, you're with me, Aiden ordered, moving swiftly toward the transport bay. As they boarded the Vardian ship, the extent of the damage became clear. The interior was a maze of sparking wires and malfunctioning equipment. The air was filled with the acrid smell of burning circuits, and the faint cries of frightened juveniles echoed through the corridors. Dr. Zorith and Tessa immediately set to work, their expertise evident as they navigated the chaotic scene. Aiden moved through the ship, coordinating the rescue efforts and ensuring the safety of the Vardian juveniles. Despite the dire circumstances, his presence brought a sense of calm and order. Captain, we've stabilized the core, but the anomaly is still exerting pressure on the ship, Dr. Zorith reported, her voice crackling over the comms. We need to evacuate the juveniles immediately. Aiden acknowledged her with a curt nod. Understood. Lieutenant Voss, begin transport of the juveniles to the Intrepid. Ensure their safety above all else. As the juveniles were transported one by one, the anomaly's effects intensified. The ship shuddered violently, and Aiden knew their time was running out. Just as the last juvenile was safely aboard the Intrepid, a massive energy surge rocked the Vardian ship. Captain, the anomaly is collapsing, Tessa shouted, her eyes wide with alarm. All hands, evacuate now, Aiden commanded, ushering his team towards the exit. They barely made it to the transport pad as the ship began to break apart around them. The transport back to the Intrepid was harrowing, but within moments, they were safely aboard. The bridge crew watched in tense silence as the Celestial Hope disintegrated in a blaze of light. Status report, Aiden demanded, his voice steady but tense. All Vardian juveniles and crew accounted for, Lieutenant Voss confirmed. We have sustained minor damage, but nothing critical. Aiden exhaled a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Good work, everyone. Let's get these juveniles settled and assess the situation. As the Intrepid moved to a safer distance, Aiden knew that this event would have far-reaching consequences. The rescue had showcased humanity's bravery and capability, but it had also highlighted the dangers lurking in the uncharted expanses of space. The bond with the Vardians had been strengthened, but a new, more ominous threat loomed on the horizon. The Chronicles of Valor had begun, and humanity's unyielding spirit would soon be tested like never before. The rescue mission had cemented the bond between humans and Vardians, but the anomaly's mysterious nature left lingering questions. Captain Aiden Valor knew they couldn't afford to remain in the dark about such threats. As the juveniles were being cared for and the ship underwent repairs, he convened a meeting with his senior staff in the Intrepid's briefing room. The room was a blend of human and draconian design, with sleek metallic surfaces interspersed with glowing blue lines reminiscent of draconian aesthetics. Holographic displays lined the walls, providing real-time data and visual aids. Seated around the central table were Dr. Lyra Zorith, Lieutenant Sarah Voss, Ensign Tessa Quinn, and a few other key officers. That anomaly was unlike anything we've encountered, Aiden began, his tone serious. We need to understand what happened and how to prevent it from occurring again. Dr. Zorith nodded, her scales glinting under the room's ambient light. "I've been analyzing the data we collected. The anomaly exhibited characteristics of a spatial rift, possibly a tear in the fabric of space-time. It's a phenomenon known to draconian science, but rare and poorly understood. Could it have been a natural occurrence, or was it created intentionally?" Lieutenant Voss asked, her brows furrowed in concern. "It's difficult to say," Lyra replied. "However, the energy signatures detected suggest a level of power and precision that hints at artificial origin." Aiden leaned forward, his expression grave. "If this was intentional, we need to find out who or what is responsible. The safety of our fleet and our allies depends on it." Tessa, who had been quietly reviewing the technical data, spoke up. "Captain, I might have an idea. If we can trace the energy signatures back to their source, we might be able to determine where the anomaly originated. It would require extensive use of our sensor arrays and computational resources, but it's possible." "Do it," Aiden said without hesitation. "In the meantime, we'll strengthen our defensive measures and prepare for any potential threats. We can't afford to be caught off guard." As the team dispersed to their respective duties, Aiden felt a sense of resolve harden within him. The incident with the Vardian ship was a stark reminder of the unknown dangers they faced in this new frontier. He vowed to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. While the Intrepid's crew worked tirelessly to decode the mystery of the anomaly, a far more immediate threat was unfolding. The Zalarans, led by the formidable Queen Zalera, had been watching the burgeoning alliances within the Stellar Federation with growing unease. Their hive mind buzzed with a singular purpose: expansion, driven by an ancient prophecy that foretold their dominion over the galaxy. On the Zalaran hive world of Zalera Prime, deep within the labyrinthine tunnels that crisscrossed the planet, Queen Zalera convened with her high-ranking drones. Her towering form, adorned with intricate exoskeletal armor and bioluminescent markings, commanded absolute authority. "The time has come to strike," she declared, her voice reverberating through the hive mind. "The humans and their allies grow too strong. They must be crushed before they can threaten our existence." Her drones, each a specialized warrior, worker, or thinker, responded in unison. "As you command, Queen Zalera." The invasion began with a series of coordinated attacks on the outermost worlds of the Stellar Federation. Zalaran ships, sleek and deadly, emerged from hyperspace with precision, their weaponry unleashing devastation upon unsuspecting planets. Entire colonies were decimated before they could mount a defense, and panic spread through the Federation like wildfire. News of the attacks reached the Intrepid just as Tessa made a breakthrough in her analysis of the anomaly's energy signatures. The atmosphere on the bridge was tense as Aiden received the grim reports from Federation Command. "The Zalarans have launched a full-scale invasion," said Admiral Marcus Kane, his holographic image flickering slightly. "We've lost contact with several outer colonies. Their tactics are swift and brutal. We need every available ship to respond." Aiden's jaw tightened. "Understood, Admiral. We'll move to assist immediately." "There's more," the Admiral continued, his expression grave. "Our intelligence suggests the Zalarans are being driven by some form of prophecy. We need to understand their motivations if we're to have any hope of stopping them." Aiden nodded, his mind racing. "We'll gather what information we can. In the meantime, we'll coordinate with other Federation forces to mount a defense." As the Intrepid prepared for battle, Aiden called a quick briefing. "Dr. Zorith, I need you to continue working on the anomaly data. Tessa, focus on reinforcing our defensive systems. Lieutenant Voss, coordinate with the fleet and prepare our tactical response. We're heading into a war zone." The crew sprang into action, their movements a well-practiced choreography of efficiency and determination. Despite the looming threat, there was an unspoken confidence among them, a belief in their captain and their mission. As the Intrepid jumped to warp, Aiden couldn't help but feel a surge of anticipation. The coming battles would test their mettle like never before, but he was determined to lead his crew through the storm. Humanity's unyielding spirit would be their greatest weapon against the Zalaran onslaught. The U.S. Intrepid dropped out of warp to a scene of utter devastation. The planet below, once a thriving hub of commerce and culture, now smoldered under the remnants of the Zalaran assault. Federation ships, some heavily damaged, circled in defensive formations, their weapons ready for any sign of the enemy. "Status report," Captain Valor demanded, his voice cutting through the tense silence. "Scanning the area now, Captain," Lieutenant Voss replied. "Several Federation ships are still operational, but they're in bad shape. No sign of Zalaran vessels in the immediate vicinity." "Open a channel to the lead ship," Aiden ordered. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the battered visage of Captain Elena Reyes, her uniform singed and her expression grim. "Captain Valor, good to see you," she said, her voice weary. "We've been holding the line, but the Zalarans hit us hard. We lost contact with 3 other colonies. If they keep this up, we won't last much longer." "We're here to help, Captain Reyes," Aiden reassured her. "What's the current status of your defenses?" "Stretched thin," she admitted. "We're running low on supplies and morale is wavering. But we'll fight to the last ship if we have to." "We won't let it come to that," Aiden replied firmly. "We'll deploy our repair crews to assist with your ships and provide additional medical support for your wounded. Together, we'll push back the Zalarans." As the Intrepid's crew began their efforts to assist the beleaguered Federation forces, Aiden convened a strategy meeting with his senior officers. "We need to fortify our position here while preparing for the next Zalaran strike," Aiden said. "Dr. Zorith, any progress on the Anomaly data?" Lyra nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I've isolated a unique energy signature that seems to correlate with the spatial rift we encountered. If we can trace this signature, we might find the source and possibly even a way to counteract it." "Excellent," Aiden replied. "Tessa, I want you to work with Dr. Zorith on this. We need every advantage we can get." "On it, Captain," Tessa responded, her determination palpable. Lieutenant Voss spoke up next. "We should also consider reaching out to the Draconians for reinforcements. If the Zalarans are truly driven by a prophecy, understanding it might give us the edge we need." Aiden nodded. "Agreed. I'll send a priority message to Draconis Prime. We need their strategic insights and technological support now more than ever." Draconis Prime was a world of stark beauty and formidable defenses. The Draconians had long maintained a cautious stance towards other species, but their alliance with humanity had brought about a new era of cooperation. The priority message from the U.S. Intrepid reached the Draconian High Council swiftly. In the Grand Chamber of the Council, Dr. Lyra Zorith stood before her peers, her plea echoing through the ornate hall. "Esteemed counselors, the Zalarans have launched an invasion that threatens the very fabric of our alliance. We must act decisively." The Draconian Council, composed of the wisest and most influential leaders of their species, listened intently. At the center, High Counselor Draxus, an imposing figure with scales like dark emeralds, regarded Lyra with a penetrating gaze. "Dr. Zorith, your dedication to this alliance is well known," Draxus began. "But the risks are considerable. Engaging the Zalarans could expose Draconis Prime to direct attack. The humans and Vardians have proven to be invaluable allies," Lyra countered. "Their resilience and ingenuity have already saved countless lives. If we abandon them now, we forfeit not only our honor, but also our strategic advantage." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the council. Draxus nodded thoughtfully. "You make a compelling case, Dr. Zorith. The council will deliberate, but you have my support. Prepare your team. We will aid our allies." Lyra bowed deeply. "Thank you, High Counselor. I will not let you down." Back on the U.S. Intrepid, the crew worked tirelessly to repair the damaged Federation ships and bolster their defenses. Morale began to improve as the immediate threat receded, but Aiden knew it was only a temporary reprieve. The Zalarans would return, and they needed to be ready. "Captain, incoming transmission from Draconis Prime," Lieutenant Voss announced. The holographic display revealed Dr. Lyra Zorith once more, her expression resolute. "Captain Valor, the Draconian High Council has agreed to send reinforcements. Our fleet will arrive within the next 12 hours. "That's the best news I've heard all day," Aiden replied, a rare smile crossing his face. "Thank you, Dr. Zorith. We'll be ready to coordinate with your forces." As the crew prepared for the arrival of the Draconian fleet, Tessa and Dr. Zorith continued their work on the anomaly data. Hours passed and finally a breakthrough came. "Captain, we've identified a potential origin point for the energy signature," Tessa announced, excitement evident in her voice. "It's located deep within Zalaran territory." Aiden leaned in, his eyes narrowing. "Are you saying the Zalarans are behind the anomalies?" "It's possible," Dr. Zorath replied. "If we can reach this location and investigate, we might find a way to neutralize their weapon and turn the tide of this war." "Then that's our next mission," Aiden declared. "We'll assemble a strike team and head into Zalaran space. This could be our chance to end the invasion and secure peace for the Federation." The crew nodded, their resolve unwavering. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but humanity's unyielding spirit burned brighter than ever. With their allies at their side, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the Draconian fleet emerged from hyperspace, the stage was set for the next phase of their battle against the Zalaran menace. The Chronicles of Valor continued, and the Guardians of Andromeda prepared to make their stand. With the arrival of the Draconian fleet, the Intrepid's crew felt a renewed surge of hope. The sleek, imposing Draconian ships formed an impressive vanguard around the Federation forces, their advanced weaponry and technology a formidable addition to the Alliance. Captain Aiden Valor stood on the bridge of the Intrepid, watching as the Draconian ships took their positions. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Dr. Lyra Zorath aboard the Draconian flagship. "Captain Valor, our forces are ready to assist," Lyra said, her voice steady. "We've coordinated our defenses and are prepared to support your strike team into Zalaran territory." "Thank you, Dr. Zorath," Aiden replied. "Your support is invaluable. We're assembling our strike team now. Once we're ready, we'll set course for the origin point of the anomaly." Aiden turned to his senior officers. "Lieutenant Voss, you'll command the Intrepid in my absence. Ensign Quinn, Dr. Zorath, you'll join me on the strike team. We leave in 1 hour." As the preparations were made, the tension on the ship was palpable. The crew knew the risks of venturing into Zalaran territory, but they also understood the necessity. This mission could be the key to turning the tide of the war. The strike team consisted of the best and brightest from both human and Draconian forces. Aiden, Lyra, and Tessa led the team, accompanied by a squad of elite soldiers and engineers. They boarded a specially outfitted stealth ship, designed to slip past Zalaran defenses undetected. As they approached the origin point of the anomaly deep within Zalaran space, the atmosphere inside the ship grew tense. The crew worked in hushed silence, their focus entirely on the mission ahead. "We're entering Zalaran territory," Tessa reported, her fingers dancing over the controls. "Activating stealth mode now." The ship's exterior shimmered and vanished from view as the stealth systems engaged. They glided silently through the void, their sensors scanning for any sign of Zalaran patrols. "Energy readings are spiking," Dr. Zorath said, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. "We're close." Aiden nodded. "Stay sharp, everyone. This is where it gets dangerous." As they approached the anomaly's origin, the sensors picked up a massive structure ahead. It was a Zalaran station, a sprawling hive of activity with energy signatures that matched those of the anomaly. "We've found it," Tessa said, her voice tinged with awe and apprehension. "Prepare for infiltration," Aiden ordered. "We'll need to get inside and find out how they're generating these anomalies." The stealth ship maneuvered closer, avoiding detection by the Zalaran defenses. They docked at a maintenance hatch on the station's exterior, and the strike team disembarked, their weapons at the ready. The interior of the station was a labyrinth of organic and mechanical structures, pulsating with an eerie bioluminescent glow. The team moved cautiously, their senses on high alert for any sign of Zalaran resistance. "This way," Lyra whispered, guiding them towards the central control room. "The energy readings are strongest here." They reached a massive chamber filled with advanced machinery and glowing crystals that hummed with power. At the center stood a console, its alien design both intricate and intimidating. "Tessa, see if you can access their systems," Aiden instructed. Tessa nodded and approached the console, her fingers deftly manipulating the controls. "I'm in. This system is incredible. It's unlike anything I've ever seen." "Can you disable the anomalies?" Lyra asked, her eyes scanning the room for any signs of danger. "I think so," Tessa replied, her voice strained with concentration. "But it's going to take time." As Tessa worked, the rest of the team took up defensive positions around the chamber. The minutes ticked by with agonizing slowness, every sound and shadow a potential threat. "Captain, we've got company," one of the soldiers whispered, his eyes fixed on the entrance. Zalaran drones began to swarm into the chamber, their insectoid forms moving with unsettling precision. The strike team opened fire, their weapons lighting up the dim chamber with bursts of energy. "Tessa, how much longer?" Aiden shouted over the din of battle. "Almost there," she replied, her hands flying over the controls. The fight intensified as more Zalarans poured into the chamber. The team held their ground, but the pressure was mounting. "Got it," Tessa exclaimed. "The anomalies are disabled. Fall back to the ship," Aiden ordered, covering the team's retreat. They fought their way back through the station, the Zalarans hot on their heels. As they reached the stealth ship, Tessa activated the docking sequence, and they scrambled aboard. "Punch it, Tessa," Aiden commanded. The ship's engines roared to life, and they shot away from the station, narrowly avoiding a barrage of Zalaran fire. As they sped away from the station, the team breathed a collective sigh of relief. "We did it," Lyra said, her voice filled with a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. "But this is just the beginning," Aiden replied. "We've disabled their anomalies, but the Zalarans won't stop. We need to regroup and prepare for their next move." As they made their way back to the fleet, the strike team knew that their victory was only a small step in the larger battle. The fight against the Zalarans was far from over, and the true test of their unity and resolve was yet to come. Upon returning to the fleet, the strike team was met with a hero's welcome. Their success in disabling the Zalaran anomalies was a significant victory, but the war was far from over. The Intrepid and its allies regrouped, preparing for the inevitable retaliation from the Zalarans. In the midst of these preparations, Aiden received an urgent message from Federation Command. Admiral Marcus Kane appeared on the holographic display, his expression grave. "Captain Valor, we've intercepted a communication from the Zalaran hive. It appears to be a recording of Queen Zalara herself." "Play it," Aiden instructed. The image shifted to show Queen Zalara, her imposing form surrounded by the flickering light of the hive. Her voice, resonant and commanding, filled the room. "To the so-called guardians of Andromeda," she began. "You believe you can thwart our destiny with your feeble alliances and technological tricks. But you cannot escape the prophecy that has guided our people for millennia. The galaxy will bow before the Zalarans, and those who resist will be crushed." The message ended, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. "What do we know about this prophecy?" Aiden asked, turning to Dr. Zorith. Lyra's expression was thoughtful. "The Zalaran prophecies are ancient and deeply rooted in their culture. They believe it is their destiny to dominate the galaxy, a belief that drives their relentless expansion. Understanding the specifics of this prophecy could be key to predicting their next moves." "We need to learn more," Aiden said. "Admiral Kane, do we have any assets that can infiltrate the Zalaran hive and gather intelligence?" The Admiral nodded. "We have a covert operations team that specializes in deep cover missions. I'll assign them to this task. In the meantime, continue to strengthen your defenses and prepare for the next wave of attacks." The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity. The Federation forces, bolstered by the draconian reinforcements, fortified their positions and prepared for the inevitable Zalaran assault. The mood was tense but resolute. Everyone knew that the coming battle would determine the fate of the Andromeda galaxy. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Aiden stood with his senior officers, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. "Our covert team has made contact," Lieutenant Voss reported. "They've managed to infiltrate the Zalaran hive and are transmitting data on their movements and strategies. It appears the Zalarans are planning a massive assault on Draconis Prime." "Draconis Prime?" Aiden repeated, his expression hardening. "If they succeed, it could cripple our alliance and give them control of the sector." "We can't let that happen," Lyra said, her eyes flashing with determination. "We must protect Draconis Prime at all costs." "Agreed," Aiden replied. Prepare all available ships for immediate deployment. We'll meet the Zalarans head-on and show them that the Federation will not be defeated. The fleet assembled, a formidable force of human, Draconian, and Vardian ships united against a common enemy. As they jumped to warp, Aiden addressed his crew one last time. "This is it," he said, his voice steady and commanding. "The Zalarans think they can crush us, but they underestimate our resolve. We fight not just for our worlds, but for the future of the entire galaxy. Let's show them the true meaning of unity and valor." The fleet emerged from warp near Draconis Prime, greeted by the sight of Zalaran ships massing for the attack. The two forces clashed in a titanic battle, the void of space filled with the flashes of energy weapons and the detonation of torpedoes. Aiden's tactical brilliance shone as he coordinated the fleet, exploiting weaknesses in the Zalaran formations and rallying his allies to key positions. Dr. Zorath and Tessa worked tirelessly to keep the Intrepid systems running at peak efficiency, their skills proving vital in the heat of battle. Amidst the chaos, Aiden spotted an opportunity. "Lieutenant Voss, concentrate all fire on that Zalaran command ship. If we take it out, we can disrupt their coordination." "Yes, Captain," Voss replied, relaying the orders. The Intrepid and its allies focused their firepower on the command ship, their combined might overwhelming its defenses. As the Zalaran vessel exploded in a brilliant flash, the enemy fleet began to falter. "Now press the attack," Aiden commanded. "Drive them back." The Federation forces surged forward, pushing the Zalarans into retreat. The tide of battle turned, and soon the once formidable Zalaran fleet was in disarray, their ships fleeing or being destroyed one by one. As the last of the Zalarans vanished from the battlefield, a cheer erupted from the crew of the Intrepid. They had won a decisive victory, but Aiden knew the war was far from over. With the Zalaran fleet in retreat, Aiden and his team knew they had to seize the moment. The covert operations team had identified the location of Queen Zalara's command center, deep within the Zalaran hive. This was their chance to confront her directly and end the threat once and for all. "Prepare a strike team," Aiden ordered. "We're going after Queen Zalara." The team, composed of elite soldiers and key personnel from the Intrepid, boarded a heavily armed shuttle and set course for the heart of Zalaran territory. The journey was fraught with danger, but they pressed on, determined to see their mission through. The shuttle landed on the surface of Zalara Prime, the atmosphere thick with tension. The landscape was alien and hostile, with towering spires and bioluminescent flora casting an eerie glow. They moved swiftly, their weapons at the ready, towards the central hive. Inside, they encountered fierce resistance. Zalaran drones swarmed to defend their queen, but the strike team fought with relentless determination, cutting a path through the hive's labyrinthine corridors. Finally, they reached the throne room, a vast chamber dominated by Queen Zalara's imposing presence. Her eyes glowed with a malevolent intelligence, and her voice echoed through the chamber. "You are fools to come here," she hissed. "The prophecy will be fulfilled. You cannot stop us." Aiden stepped forward, his weapon trained on the queen. "This ends now, Zalara. Your prophecy is nothing but a tool for conquest. We stand for the future of all free beings in the galaxy." Zalara laughed, a chilling sound that reverberated through the hive. "You understand nothing, human. This is our destiny." With a signal from Aiden, the team launched their assault. The battle was fierce, but they fought with everything they had, their determination unyielding. As the fight raged on, Tessa managed to access the hive's control systems, using her technical prowess to disable key defenses. Finally, Aiden saw his opportunity. He closed in on Zalara, his weapon charged and ready. "For the Federation," he declared, firing a decisive shot. Queen Zalara fell, her form crumpling as the energy blast struck true. The hive fell silent, the remaining drones collapsing as the hive mind was severed. The battle was won, and the threat of the Zalarans was finally over. With Queen Zalara defeated and the Zalaran threat neutralized, the Andromeda galaxy began to heal. The Federation, now stronger and more united than ever, turned its focus to rebuilding and strengthening the bonds between its member species. On the US Intrepid, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The crew had been through a harrowing ordeal, but they had emerged victorious, their bonds forged in the fires of battle. Captain Aiden Valor stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, it felt bright. "Captain, incoming transmission from Federation Command," Lieutenant Voss reported. The holographic display showed Admiral Kane, his expression one of genuine respect and gratitude. "Captain Valor, on behalf of the Federation, I commend you and your crew for your bravery and dedication. You've saved countless lives and ensured the future of our alliance." "Thank you, Admiral," Aiden replied. "It was a team effort. We couldn't have done it without the support of our allies." As the transmission ended, Aiden turned to his crew. "We've accomplished something incredible, but our work is far from over. The galaxy is vast, and there will always be new challenges. But I know that together, we can face anything." Dr. Zorith, standing beside him, nodded in agreement. "Unity and cooperation have brought us this far. They will continue to guide us in the days ahead." Tessa, her youthful face now bearing the marks of experience and determination, added, "And we'll keep innovating, finding new ways to protect and improve our worlds." The Intrepid's crew cheered, their spirits lifted by the promise of a brighter future. As the ship sailed through the stars, they knew that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. In the aftermath of the Zalaran War, the Andromeda galaxy entered a new era of peace and cooperation. The bonds forged between humans, Draconians, Vardians, and other species grew stronger, paving the way for a united future. Captain Aiden Valor, now celebrated as a hero across the galaxy, continued to lead his crew with the same unyielding spirit that had seen them through the darkest times. Together with Dr. Lyra Zorith and Ensign Tessa Quinn, they explored new frontiers, discovered new allies, and safeguarded the peace they had fought so hard to achieve. The Chronicles of Valor had only just begun, and the Guardians of Andromeda stood ready to face whatever challenges the cosmos might bring. Their story was one of courage, unity, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity, a testament to what could be achieved when diverse beings came together for a common cause. And so, the Intrepid continued its journey through the stars, a beacon of hope and a symbol of the unyielding spirit that defined the Guardians of Andromeda. Thank you for joining us for Act 1 of the Guardians of Andromeda. If you're eager to see what happens next, click on the video on your screen to continue the epic journey with Act 2. Don't forget to subscribe to Sci-Fi Story Vault and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more thrilling stories.